Hey everyone, today we're going to be doing the Loops and Threads Hedgehog crochet kit. You have everything you need here in the box. This is a list of things that they have in the box besides a stitch marker. So if you have a stitch marker, you're going to grab that and a pair of scissors. I already went ahead. This is my finished hedgehog. Overall, the pattern worked out for me. I didn't have too many issues. Occasionally ran into an issue while doing the popcorn stitch, but overall it was pretty simple. When securing up the back, instead of doing the 3 decreases all the way around, I think I would do 2 decreases so that it wouldn't pull so tight, leaving such a open space so that you can see the stuffing inside. So let's go ahead and get started with this little guy. So we're going to get started making the mushroom for the hedgehog. We're going to make the stem first, and then we'll make the cap. This is the written pattern for the stem and the cap. So let's go ahead and get started with making the stem. We're going to start with our tan yarn, and we're going to make a magic circle. So grab our yarn in my left hand, wrap it around the back side of my 2 first fingers, crossing over the top, making an X. Go under the first, over the second, rotating it towards you, grabbing your working yarn and pulling it through, securing it like this. Then we're going to do 6 single crochets into the magic circle. So we put our hook in the circle, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and that's our single crochet. That's 3, 4, 5, and 6. We're going to tighten our circle down by pulling the short tail. Into the first stitch of this round, we're going to do a slip stitch. So my first stitch is here. I'm going to do a chain 1, getting ready for round 2. For round 2 through 7, we're going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way around, having 6 stitches and a chain 1 in between. So we'll do our 6 single crochets for round 2. So our 6, and we slip stitch into the first stitch of that round. And then we do a chain 1, and we're ready for the next round. So for rounds 3 through 7, you're going to do the same thing. 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way around. You'll continue having 6 stitches. I'll meet you guys back at the end of round 7 to chain 1 and cut. So we finished our round 7, and we're going to do a chain 1 and cut. So do our chain 1, pull it up, grab your scissors, and trim off your tail. You don't need much, you need just a little bit. I left mine at about 5 or 6 inches. And if you want, you can put some stuffing here into the stem to help form its shape a little bit better. So we're going to get started on the cap. For the cap, we're going to grab our red yarn. And with our red yarn, we're going to start with a magic ring. So in our left hand, we grab our red thread, wrap it over the back side and front, making that X. Go under the first, over the second, twisting it towards you, pulling through. And this time we're going to do 5 single crochets. They want us to do a chain 1 and then 5 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Once you have your 5 single crochets, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, tighten it down, and we're going to slip stitch into the chain 1, the first stitch of the round. And then we're going to do a chain 1. Now we're ready for round 2. And for round 2, we're going to start with 2 single crochets in each stitch. So that same place we did our chain 1, we're putting our hook into that first stitch here. And we're putting 2 single crochets into each stitch. So at the end of round 2, you're going to have a total of 10 stitches. So I'll meet you guys back at the end of round 2. So we finished round 2. We're going to do our slip stitch into the first stitch of that round, like that, and do a chain 1. Now we're ready for round 3. Round 3 is a single crochet and then an increase in the next stitch. So we start with a single crochet and then 2 single crochets in the next stitch, and then you repeat a single crochet and then 2 single crochets in the next stitch. Keep repeating this. At the end of round 3, you're going to have a total of 15 stitches. I'll meet you guys back at the end of round 3. So we finished round 3. We're going to do a slip stitch into the first stitch of round 3, and then a chain 1, ready for round 4 and 5. Round 4 and 5 is just 1 single crochet all the way around, making sure to do a slip stitch and chain 1 in between round 4 and 5. Meet you guys back at the end of round 5. So we're finishing up round 5. We're doing our slip stitch into the first stitch of round 5. And we're going to do a chain 1 and we're going to cut. We're going to leave a little bit of a tail to attach the cap to the stem of the mushroom, like this. So we'll leave a little bit more of a tail in the red so that we can stitch it through the top of the cap so that you're not going to be able to see the tan yarn on top of the red. Alright, so I shoved about this much, a small pinch of stuffing here into the stem. I used this side of the hook, the rounded side, to shove it into the hole here because it's a very tight area. Alright, so we finished our mushroom cap. I trimmed the tail of my mushroom cap really short so it doesn't get in the way. So having it flipped right side out like this, I have my tapestry needle and I threaded my white thread on here. So we're going to take our tapestry needle, wherever you feel that you want a white dot, that's where you put it. So I'm going to put one over here on this side. I'm going to pull our thread all the way through, almost all the way through, not fully through. You're going to leave a little bit of the tail to stay in the top of the cap so it doesn't come out. I went through this bottom stitch down here, so I'm going to go up to the stitch above it and push our thread back through. Alright, so this here is going to make this little line here, and we're going to make an X. So going over here to the right side of it, we're going to go up through the bottom of the cap, pulling it through, and then we're going to go down, making that cross X section. Like this. So we're making X like this. I'm going to show you guys one more time. So I got one here on this side. I'm going to put one here down towards the bottom of the cap. So there's one on this side here, and then I rotated towards the right side. One towards the back cap going through the very bottom stitch. Pull it through. Not too tight to disform the cap. Go up above the stitch to the side. Pulling that through. Get this tail out of the way. So now we're going to go over here to the right side and go up through this side. So we're going to make that X that we want to see to make the spot. And then we're going to go right through this stitch down here. so showing you guys how to do it, we're going to go choose a stitch to go in through, pull your thread through the bottom of the cap, find the next stitch next to it, and we're going to go through there, pushing our needle through, and then to the side of that stitch we're going to go up through the bottom of the cap and then back down, and it creates this little X or plus shape like this. Add as many as you want or as little as you want, however you want your mushroom to look. So I'll meet you guys back when it's time to stitch the mushroom cap onto the mushroom stem. Okay, so we stitched our last mushroom dot that we have here. I'm going to leave a little bit of a tail just so that it doesn't come out, and I'm just going to tuck it into the top of the mushroom cap while we're securing the cap to the stem. It will be in place. Just going to wrap up this tail of the mushroom stem. I'm actually going to shove mine here into the stem. Alright, so let's attach these two together. So I don't want to attach the first round or the edge round of this mushroom cap to the bottom of the mushroom, because then it's not going to overhang like your traditional mushroom would out in real life. So we're going to go up through the bottom of the mushroom cap into the next round up. So here's our round one right here, and then we're going to go to round two from the bottom, and that's where I'm going to put my thread up through, and we're going to take our mushroom cap. So going into the right here where our chain one space on our mushroom cap is, we're going to go into the next stitch through the top. So going in through the top, out through the bottom. Find whatever stitch you want to start with on your mushroom stem and put the needle through that area. And you're going to pull it through. Alright, so we have our first stitch that we went through down and through here. We're going to go up through the next stitch, back through that second round, going down into the next stitch. While you're going down into the next stitch, find the next stitch of the top round of the stem and pull it through. So now we've gone through there, we're going to go through, so you can kind of barely see it here. You can see this horizontal stitch here. That's the stitch we just went through, so go through the next stitch to the side of it, going up so that you can't see the thread going around the edge of the mushroom, and then into the next stitch, go down and back through the top of the mushroom cap. You're going to keep doing that all the way around until your mushroom cap is secure the way that you want it. I'll meet you guys back at the end to secure our thread. Okay, so I stitched around. If I notice any of them are too tight, I can just tug on them a little bit to loosen them up from when I was pulling them through, and that will loosen them up, reshaping the mushroom cap. So we're going to go through the center. So if you're noticing any of your stitches being too tight or one side of your mushroom cap being pulled down really close to the stem, just kind of take your mushroom cap, stretch it out a little bit. This will help loosen the stitches that you did while you were pulling it through. Here's what mine looks like here. And we're just going to take this and we're going to shove it back through the top side, under the bottom, out the top. Pull it like this. You're going to pull this tight right here, and then you're going to snip it while it's tight. Take your tapestry needle, shove that little tip back in the center of the mushroom, And there you go. And now your mushroom is complete for your little hedgehog, and we're going to go ahead and get started on the next part. Alright, so next we're going to do the ear. This is the ear that I made off camera, since you have to make two. I'm going to show you guys how to make one on camera. This is the written pattern for the ear. Okay, so with our tan yarn, we're going to go ahead and make this ear. So grabbing our thread here, twisting it away from you, pulling through, making our slip knot. We're doing a chain 5, chain 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Into the second chain from the hook, we're doing a single crochet. In the next chain, we're also doing a single crochet and a single crochet. So that's a total of 3 single crochets. And into the last stitch that we have, we're doing that slip stitch, chain 1 slip stitch. So we're doing a slip stitch. So put in, pull through, chain 1, put in, pull through, and we did that. So since we were working with our thread like this, we're rotating it up like this, and we're working into the 1, 2, and the third stitch here. So into these 3 stitches in the top, we're doing 1 single crochet. So 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets, and a 3rd single crochet. I tucked the tail on the top of my working area so that it's not in the way. And into that top single crochet here, we're doing a slip stitch, and then you would do a chain 1. And your ear would look like this. Alright, so next we're going to get started on the nose. This is the written pattern for the nose. They're showing you where you're going to position the plastic nose that they provided in the kit. And then they're showing you what you're going to stitch with the black thread to make the mouth shape. You're welcome to make it the same as this. You can always change it, make them a little unique. Put your own little flair on it. So we're going to grab our tanned yarn and let's get started with round 1. Alright, so we're starting off with the nose. It wants you to do the chain 2, 4 single crochets into the second chain from the hook. I don't like doing that method because it always seems to leave a gap. So we're going to make a magic ring and just do 4 single crochets into the magic ring. So wrap our thread around, creating an X on the top, going under the first, over the second, making our magic ring. And we're going to do 4 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Tighten your tail down. Once you tighten your tail down, you're going to do a slip stitch into that first stitch of the round. Like this. And we have our 1, 2, 3, and 4th stitch. So doing a chain 1, getting ready for round 2. Round 2, you're going to do 2 single crochets in each stitch. So we have 1 and 2. And you keep doing that until you get all the way around. So 3, 4, 5, and 6, 7, and 8. So we're doing a slip stitch into the first stitch of that round to finish off round 2. Just like that, and then do a chain 1. Now we're ready for round 3. Round 3, we're going to do 1 single crochet and then an increase. So a single crochet and an increase of 2 stitches in the next stitch. So that's a total of 3 stitches. So we do a single crochet and then 2 stitches in the next stitch, and that's 6. You're going to continue the sequence of a single crochet and then 2 single crochets in 1 stitch all the way around. At the end of round 3 you'll have a total of 12 stitches. So we did our 12 stitches. We're going to slip stitch into the beginning of the first stitch of round 3 and do a chain 1, and now we're ready for round 4. Round 4 is going to be 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way around. At the end of that round you're going to have a total of 4 stitches. At the end of that round you're going to do a chain 1 and cut, and then I'll meet you guys back to do the face stitching and placing the nose. Okay, so I finished off my round 4, made sure to do my slip stitch and chain 1 and cut. I left probably about 6-8 inches of thread. You don't have to leave that long of a tail, just enough to stitch it onto the face later. So I have my tapestry needle threaded with my black yarn. So if you can put this piece down here at the bottom, what we're going to do is always going into the, okay, so I finished my round 4 with my 12 stitches. I did a slip stitch with a chain 1 and cut. I left about 8 to 6 inches of thread so that we can sew it onto the face later. I also went ahead and trimmed the tail piece of our thread so that it doesn't get in the way while we're stitching on the nose detail. So with your tapestry needle and your black thread, you're going to thread your needle. I'm going to go ahead and make sure that this end of the tail yarn is going to be the bottom of his muzzle and this is going to be the top. So going into the top stitch here of his muzzle, we're going to go up through the bottom like this so that you can't see the thread over the top edge. You're not going to pull it all the way through. You're going to pull it almost all the way through, leaving a little bit of a tail that can be tucked into the muzzle against his face. And then you're going to come down to about between, they say round 1, which is going to be here. I'm going to do mine at about round 2, but you can do it around 1 if you want. I'm going to do mine at round 2. And we're going to pull that through. Not too tight because we're going to end up pulling it and misshaping the nose. Making sure that that piece of thread lays across the point of the muzzle. And then we're going to go into the side to create his little smile. So I would say where this right here, this is the center point. We're going to do 1, 2, and 3. You can do 4 if you want him to have a really big smile. So we're going to do into the 4th stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Go up and pull through, and then you're going to go in through the same bottom stitch where I went through round 2 instead of round 1. Resituate his centerpiece. That centerpiece will stay better once we have the plastic nose that they provided in the kit in the middle. So then we're going to do 1, 2, 3, and this is the 4th stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Go in through the 4th stitch under there and then go back through that same stitch down at the bottom. Okay, so for his nose, I place it here on where this is round 1 and this is round 2. I place it in a middle stitch on round 2. And just like this. And these extra pieces here, these 2 black pieces of thread can just add some bulk to his muzzle or nose. And that's what his nose is going to look like when we stitch it onto his face. Okay, so we're going to do the arms. I've already made one off camera. The one I've made off camera is this one here. This is a arm, and then this is one of the legs. So we're going to make the arm. So with your tan yarn, we're going to do this sequence here. This is the step for the arm. So getting started, we're going to grab our tan yarn and make a magic circle. With our magic circle going over the back, over the top, making that X, over the first, or I'm sorry, under the first, over the second. Twist to secure, and 6 single crochets into the magic circle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Tighten it down. Once you tighten it down all the way, slip stitch into the first stitch of that round. So put in through the first stitch, pull through, pull all the way through, and then do a chain 1. Now we're going to do 2 single crochets in each stitch all the way around. At the end of round 2, we're going to have 12 stitches. So we'll go into the first stitch. That's 1 and 2. And second stitch, 1 and 2. Meet you guys back at the end of round 2. Round 2 we'll have a total of 12 stitches. So we finish round 2, we have 12 stitches. We're going to do a slip stitch into the first stitch of that round and a chain 1. Now we're ready for rounds 3 through 7. Rounds 3 through 7 is just 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way around. At the end of each round, you're going to do a slip stitch with a chain 1, and you'll continue the 12 single crochets all the way around. At the end of round 7, I'll meet you guys back for a chain 1 and cut. So we finished round 7 of the second arm. We're going to do a slip stitch into the first stitch of that round, and we're going to do a chain 1. So you're going to pull up a little bit. You're going to leave about 6 to 8 inches of yarn so that we can stitch it onto the body later. We'll do a chain 1 and cut. Once you do your chain 1 and cut, just pull it through, securing that knot. And this is our second arm, our first and second arm. Let's go ahead and make the leg. The leg is the same pattern as the arm. So we're going to do rounds 1, 2, and then rounds 3 through 5 instead of 7. So grab your tan yarn, make a magic ring, and put 6 single crochets into the magic ring. Meet you guys back at the end of the round when we have our 6 single crochets. So we have our 6 single crochets. So for the second round of the leg, we're going to do a slip stitch into the first stitch of that round 1. Same way that we did the arms. You're going to do a chain 1, and then we're going to do 2 single crochets in each stitch all the way around. So into the first stitch, we're going to do 2 single crochets, 1 and 2. Same thing for the second stitch, 1 and 2. Keep doing 2 singles crochets in each stitch all the way around. At the end of round 2, you're going to have a total of 12 stitches. Alright, so we finished round 2. We're going to do a slip stitch into the first stitch of that round and a chain 1. We're ready for round 3. And remember, we're only doing rounds 3 through 5 rather than 3 through 7. So rounds 3 through 5 is only 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way around, so you continue to have 12 stitches. In between each round, you're going to do a slip stitch and a chain 1. I'll meet you guys back at the end of round 5. Alright, so we finished round 5 of the leg. We're going to do a slip stitch into the first stitch of the round with a chain 1. Pull up a little bit, about just enough to be about 6 inches. Go ahead and cut your yarn. Pull it through and it's secure. We're going to tuck the tail into the inner part of the foot. We're going to stuff the foot later on when we're stitching it onto the body. So here we have the 2 different feet. So we're going to get started with the face. This is the written pattern for the face. We're going to be using our tan yarn again. Let's hope they gave us enough tan yarn. Let's go ahead and get started with it. So for round 1, we're grabbing our yarn and we're doing a slip knot. So grab your tail in your left hand, make a loop, twist it. We're going to make a chain 8. So we're chaining 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now we have a chain 8 into the second chain from the hook. We're going to do a single crochet, and we're also going to do a single crochet in the next chain and in the next 5 chains. So second chain from the hook, we're doing a single crochet, and then we're going to do 5 more single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This leaves 1 chain unworked. We have our last chain here that has nothing in it. So we're going to do 3 single crochet into the last chain. So 1, 2, and 3. And that's our 3 single crochet into the last chain. They want us to turn our work. So we're going to work onto the top side of these loops. Single crochet into the next 5 loops. So we have our chain 3, or I'm sorry, our 3 single crochet right here. Into the next stitch, we're going to do 1 single crochet. Into the next stitch is 2, 3, 4, laying my tail against the top of these single crochets so that I don't have to weave them in later. That's our 4, and then our 5th one. So we've done 5 single crochets. Now we have something that looks a little like this. And then they want us to join into the first stitch of this round with a slip stitch. And chain 1. That makes us ready for round 2. So it kind of looks like this. So for round 2, they want to do 2 single crochets in the same stitch as the joining. So right here where we put this slip stitch, they want us to do 2 single crochets. So 1 and 2. And then single crochet in the next stitch. So right here we did our 2 single crochets, and then this stitch right here we're going to do 1 single crochet. And then 2 single crochets in the next stitch. So 1 and 2. A single crochet in the next 5. So 1, next stitch, another 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So into the last stitch of round 2, this one right here, we're going to do 2 single crochets, 1 and 2, and that's our round 2. So for round 3, we're going to do a chain 1, then we're going to do an increase and then a single crochet, and we're going to repeat that sequence 3 times. So we're going to do an increase of 2, so 1, 2, a single crochet, an increase of 2, 1, 2, a single crochet, an increase of 2, 1, 2, and then a single crochet. We repeated that 3 times, and then we're going to do a single crochet in the next 4 stitches. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So they want us to repeat that sequence of an increase and then a single crochet. So we did our increase single crochets 3 times. We did 4 single crochets, and we're going to repeat the same thing again of the increase. So after our 4th single crochet into the next stitch, we're doing an increase of 2 single crochets in 1 stitch, and then a single crochet. Do that 2 more times. So an increase, 1, 2, single crochet. 1 more increase, 1, 2, single crochet. And then they want us to do 1 single crochet in the next 5 stitches. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This is what we have so far. So we have our 26 stitches for round 3. We're going to do a slip stitch and a chain 1. Then we have our chain 1 for round 4. We're going to do a single crochet in the next stitch. And then we're going to do another single crochet, an increase of 2 single crochets, 1, 2, that's a total of 4 stitches, an increase again, 1, 2. So far we've done 2 single crochets and 2 increases. So we should have 6 stitches so far. After we've done our 2 increases, we're going to do a single crochet and then an increase. A single crochet and then an increase. 1 and 2. And the next 7 stitches we're going to do 1 single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 6 and 7. We have 7 single crochets. We're going to do an increase in the next stitch. So 1, 2, a single crochet, an increase, and the next 2 stitches, that's 1, 2, a single crochet, an increase, and then a single crochet in the next 6 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Just like that. We have this oval shape. Alright, so this is the end of our round 4. We're doing a slip stitch into the first stitch of this round and a chain 1. At the end of round 4 you had a total of 34 stitches. So now we're going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way around for round 5. At the end of round 5 we'll have a total of 34 stitches as well. I'll meet you guys back in just a minute. We're at the end of round 5. We're going to do our slip stitch and chain 1. Round 5 had a total of 34 single crochets. Round 6, we're going to start with we have our chain 1. And we're going to do 1 single crochet in the next 3 stitches. So 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to do an increase in the next 2 stitches. So 1, 2, 1, and 2. So we did our increase in the next 2 stitches. After that we're going to do 1 single crochet in 3 stitches. So 1, 2, 3. And then an increase in 2 stitches. So 1, 2, and 1, 2. Do a single crochet in the next 10. So then we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. After our 10th single crochet, we're going to start with 2 increases. So we got an increase in the first stitch, of 2, an increase in the second stitch of 2, and then we're going to do 3 single crochets. So we have 1, 2, 3, then an increase in the next 2 stitches, so 1 stitch, 2 stitches, with 10 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10. Alright, so for round 6, I've already done my slip stitch and chain 1 of round 5. Round 6, we're going to start off with 3 single crochets. So we have 1, 2, 3. Let me get a stitch marker really quick, because this one has a lot of different stitches. Alright, so we did our 3 single crochets, then we're going to do an increase, 2 single crochets in 1 stitch, another increase, 2 single crochets in 1 stitch. Then we're going to do 3 single crochets, 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to do an increase into the next 2 stitches, so 1 and 2. After we've done that, we're going to do 10 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So our 10 single crochets. They want us to repeat that same sequence that we just did of the increase in the next 2 stitches. So an increase and another increase, 3 single crochets, an increase in the next 2, and then we're going to do the last 7 single crochets, where the last time we did 10, this time we're only going to do 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then we're going to do our slip stitch into the first stitch of round 6 and a chain 1, and now we're ready for round 7. This is what we have going on so far. At the end of round 6, we have a total of 42 stitches. So rounds 7 and 8 are the same. It's going to be 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way around. At the end of round 7 and 8, you're going to have 42 stitches, and in between rounds 7 and 8, make sure to do your slip stitch and chain 1. At the end of round 8, we're going to be changing to our CB yarn, which is going to be our brown yarn. And I'll meet you guys back right before we change into our brown yarn. Okay, so this is after rounds 7 and 8. I haven't finished off my round 8. We need to switch over to the brown yarn instead of the tan yarn, so we're going to go in for our slip stitch. When we go in for our slip stitch, we're going to just leave this yarn behind us. Grab the tail of your brown yarn. Leave a little bit of excess against the back side of this tan piece. You're going to yarn over with your brown yarn, pulling it through, and finish off your slip stitch through the tan yarn. And you're going to secure it with a chain 1. And now we've switched over to our brown yarn. These two bumps here that are on mine are going to flatten out when we stuff it. That's just how it came out when I stitched it. Probably could do a better job if I gave it another try. So continuing on with the body, we're going to go ahead and leave this tan piece attached. Don't do a chain 1 and cut. Don't cut it off. Just leave it attached. But for now, we're going to be working with our brown yarn. Starting with round 9, we're going to do, we've already done a chain 1, so we're going to do a chain 2. Once we have our chain 2, we're going to double crochet, do a double crochet into this same stitch that we did our slip stitch in, which is a yarn over, put through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. That's our double crochet. And then the next stitch, we're going to start this popcorn stitch that we're going to do. So the popcorn stitch and the next stitch is, first we're going to do 4 double crochets in the next stitch. So yarn over, put through the next stitch, pull through 2, pull through 2, and then do that 3 more times. So you have 4 double crochets in this one stitch. That's 3, pull through 2, and that's my 4th one. So pull up this loop just a little bit. So we have 1 double crochet, 2, 3, and 4. They want you to take your hook and put it through the first double crochet of the popcorn stitch. This is the first double crochet that we did of round 9. This is the first one of our popcorn stitch. Put your hook through here, grab your working loop, pull your working loop through your first stitch, and then do a chain 1 to close off the popcorn stitch like that, and it kind of creates that pointy shape. So now the next stitch that we're going to do in the set is going to be 1 double crochet the next 2 stitches. So yarn over, put through the next stitch, pull through 2, pull through 2, yarn over, next stitch, pull through 2, pull through 2. You see how this one kind of sticks out compared to these? So now into this next stitch we're going to do another popcorn stitch. So yarn over, do your 4 double crochets, so pull through 2, this is the second one, pull through 2, third one, pull through 2, pull through 2, and the 4th one. Pull through 2 and 2. Pull up just a little bit so that you don't lose it. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. Going in through both loops of the first double crochet of that popcorn stitch, grab your working loop, pull your working loop through the first stitch, and do a chain 1 to secure your popcorn stitch. And we're going to go back to repeating this same sequence. So now we're going to do 2 double crochets, 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches, so 1, next stitch, another double crochet, that's 2, and now we're ready for another popcorn stitch. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So fourth stitch of our popcorn stitch, pull up just a little bit, take your hook out. That's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Put your hook through the first double crochet of that popcorn stitch. Put your working loop on your hook. Pull your working through the first stitch and do a chain 1. And that's what's going to give you this hedgehog pointy hair look. You're going to repeat this same sequence of 1 double crochet and 2 stitches, a popcorn stitch, double crochet and 2 stitches, popcorn stitch. Make sure when you're doing your popcorn stitch to do that lift up and pull through the first one with the chain 1, making sure that you're doing it right. The popcorn stitch instructions are also on the written pattern, so have that nearby just in case you forget. At the end of round 9, you'll have a total of 14 popcorn stitches and a total of 28 double crochets. I'll meet you guys back when I finish round 9. So this is the end of my round 9 with all my popcorn stitches and my double crochets. So for round 10, so before we do round 10, we're going to slip stitch into the first double crochet that we did of that round. And then for round 10, we're doing a chain 2. So chain 1 and chain 2. Now round 10 is going to be a double crochet in the same stitch that we just did. So we're going to do a yarn over, put in, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2. And then we're going to do a popcorn stitch in the next stitch. So here's the one that we just went in. This is our next stitch. So we'll yarn over, and our popcorn stitch, remember, is 4 double crochets in one stitch. So 2, 3, and 4. Once you get your 4th double crochet in there, pull your thread up a little bit. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Put your hook through the first double crochet that you did for your popcorn stitch. Put your loop on your hook, pull it through, and then chain 1 to secure that popcorn stitch. And so for round 10, then we're going to do a double crochet in the chain 1 space. So this stitch right here, this is the chain 1 space of the last popcorn stitch that we did. So we'll yarn over, put through that chain 1 space, and do a double crochet. Pull through 2 and pull through 2, and it looks something like that. And then we're going to do a double crochet in the next previous double crochet. So this one here, this is a double crochet, so we'll put a double crochet right there. And then we're going to do a popcorn stitch into the stitch next to it. So 4 double crochets into this next stitch. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Got our 4 double crochets in that one stitch. Pull it up a little bit. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Put it through both loops. Put your loop on your hook and pull it through and chain 1. And now that's our next popcorn stitch. You're going to continue repeating this sequence. So into the next stitch where we have our chain 1 space, we're doing a double crochet. So we do a double crochet into the chain 1 space, a double crochet into the next stitch, and then a popcorn stitch into the 3rd stitch. And that's the sequence that we're going to be repeating. Remembering when you're doing your popcorn stitch to connect the first and last loop of your stitch. So we have our last loop. We have 1, 2, 3, and 4 going through both loops of the front, taking your working loop, pulling it through, and doing that chain 1 to make sure to give it that shape. Keep repeating that sequence of a double crochet into the chain 1 space, a double crochet into the next stitch, and then a popcorn stitch. Repeat that sequence all the way around. At the end of round 10, it does not say how many you're supposed to have. So you keep going until you reach this end over here before we do our slip stitch, and I'll meet you guys back right before we do our slip stitch. So this is my round 10. You can see that the popcorn stitches from round 9 are on this side, and the popcorn stitches from round 10 are on the other side. So we're going to do our slip stitch into the first double crochet of that round and a chain 2, and that's ready for round 11. Before we do round 11, I'm going to go ahead and cut this tan yarn off. We're not going to use it for the rest of the time. Trim that so we don't have that hanging around. So round 11, we did our chain 2, and we're going to start off with a double crochet into the same stitch that we did our chain 2. So yarn over, do a double crochet, and then we have our double crochet. We're going to do a double crochet into the chain 1 space, which is the next available stitch. So yarn over, put through that chain 1 space, and do a double crochet. After that, you're going to do a popcorn stitch and then a double crochet. So we'll do a popcorn stitch with a total of 4 double crochets in 1 stitch. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Pull up a little bit, go into the first one of that popcorn stitch, grab your working loop, pull it through, and chain 1. Now do a double crochet, and that's your sequence. So we're going to do a double crochet into the next available stitch, which is the chain 1 space. We're going to do a popcorn stitch. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Pull up, put through the first one of that popcorn stitch, pull it through, chain 1, and then double crochet. Keep repeating that sequence all the way around for round 11. You'll see that your popcorn stitches are slightly off to the side. They're not in a straight line. So a double crochet, a popcorn stitch, a double crochet. Keep doing that all the way around. At the end, I'll meet you guys back to do the slip stitch and chain 2. So we finish up our round 11. I ended off on a popcorn stitch. We're going to do our slip stitch into the first double crochet of that round, and then we're doing a chain 2, getting ready for round 12. So round 12, we're going to do a double crochet and a decrease. So a double crochet in the next stitch, and then decrease 2 together. So yarn over, that same stitch that we did our double crochet in, we're going to go through, yarn over, pull through, in the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over and pull through all 4. That's a decrease. We're going to do that one more time. We're going to do a double crochet into the same stitch that we did our double crochet. We're going to yarn over, put through, pull through, find the next stitch, which is this chain 1 space from the previous popcorn stitch, put through and pull through, and then yarn over, pull through all 4, and that's our second decrease. Then we are going to do a popcorn stitch in the next stitch. So here's our next stitch. We're going to put our 4 double crochets and then finish the popcorn stitch. So 2, 3, and 4. Like that. pull up a little bit. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Put your hook there, pull it through, do your chain 1, and we're going to repeat that sequence again. So that sequence again is going to be a double crochet with a decrease, a double crochet with a decrease, and then a popcorn stitch. So we're going to do a double crochet in the next stitch, into the same stitch that we did our double crochet. We're going to start our decrease, so yarn over, pull through, into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 4, and that's 1 decrease. We have to do it again, so double crochet into that chain 1 space, got our double crochet into the same stitch that we did our double crochet. Start your decrease, so put in, pull through, next stitch, put in, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 4. Those are 2 decreases. Now let's do our popcorn stitch. 4 double crochets in 1 stitch, that's our 4th one. Pull up a little bit. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Put through the first one, put your hook through, pull through, and chain 1. So we're doing that same sequence again. Remember, it's a double crochet with a decrease starting in the same stitch you did a double crochet in. Do another double crochet with a decrease, and then do your popcorn stitch. Repeat that sequence all the way back around. I'll meet you guys back over here to do our slip stitch and chain 2. So this is our round 12. I finished off with a popcorn stitch. We're going to do our slip stitch into the first double crochet of this round, and a chain 2. We're ready for round 13. This is what we got going on so far. Maybe somewhere between round 14 and 15, I'll place on his eyes and stitch on his nose. So for round 13, we're going to start off with a double crochet in this same stitch that we have our chain 2. Got our double crochet, and then we're going to do a popcorn stitch in the next stitch. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Pull it up a little bit. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Put through. Put your loop back on. Pull through. Chain 1. That's our popcorn stitch. And then we're going to do a double crochet into the chain 1 space and next double crochet. So I did my double crochet in my popcorn stitch of round 13. My stitches don't add up with theirs, so I can't do exactly what they're saying. To get my pattern to match up with theirs, I'm going to do a double crochet decrease right here in between these 2 stitches. So we'll do a decrease, and then we'll do, or I'm sorry, double crochet, and then we'll do a decrease to get my stitches to match up with theirs. They're having you do, they want you to do a decrease or a double crochet in the same stitch we did a chain 2. Do your popcorn stitch, and when you do that, you should be at the point of your chain 1 space from your previous row in order to do a double crochet right here in the chain 1 space. So we'll do a double crochet here. Once you do your double crochets there and next double crochet, you're going to place another double crochet right here into the next stitch, and then you're going to do a popcorn stitch again. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. Put your hook through the beginning, get that loop, pull it through, pull all of it through, and then do a chain 1. Then they want you to repeat that same sequence. So if your stitches line up with theirs, the sequence starts as a double crochet in the chain 1 space, a double crochet in the next stitch, and then a popcorn stitch. And then it will go double crochet, popcorn stitch. You repeat that same sequence all the way around. I'll meet you guys back at the end of this round to do a slip stitch and chain 2. Alright, so this is my round 13. I'm going to do a slip stitch into the first double crochet of that round with a chain 2. We're ready for round 14. Before we do round 14, I'm going to go ahead and place the eyes here on the front. Okay, so this is where I ended up placing my eyes, a couple of rows in from each of the sides, and we're going to place his nose right over this stretched middle part. I think it would look good on him right about there. Have my tapestry needle here. You're going to go in through a stitch on his stomach, come back up through the bottom and through one of the next stitches. Pull it all the way through, and you're just gonna keep doing that until his nose is secure. Once his nose is secure, just make sure you leave your thread on this side. It's going to be covered with stuffing and closed up once we finish the rest of his hair. So I'll meet you guys back in just a minute to continue with round 14 of the brown. Okay, so this is what it looks like with his nose, mouth, or little muzzle stitched on in his eyes. That's what it looks like from the back here. We already did our chain 2, so now we're ready for round 14. And our round 14, we're going to do a decrease in the next 2 double crochets. So we'll start with a yarn over, pull through, next stitch, pull through all 4. That's 1 decrease. The next stitch, pull through that chain 1 space, pull through, next stitch, pull through all 4. We got 2 decreases, and then we're going to do a popcorn stitch. So we got our 1, 2, 3, and 4. And through that first stitch, grab your loop, pull it through, chain 1. And then again, you're going to repeat that same sequence. It's going to be a decrease in 2 double crochets. So we got 1 double crochet, another double crochet, decrease, And then we do another decrease. 1, going in that chain 1 space. That's 2. And then you're going to do your next popcorn stitch. Keep repeating that sequence all the way around until you get to the end here. Once you get to the end here, you're going to skip the last double crochet and then just go ahead and do a slip stitch into the base. So we finish round 14, do our slip stitch into the first stitch of that round and a chain 2. We're ready for round 15. Round 15 is going to be a double crochet in the next 2 stitches and then a popcorn stitch. So a double crochet, double crochet, and then a popcorn stitch. So 4 double crochets in 1 stitch, 2, 3, 4. Then we do 1, 2, 3, and 4, going through the first stitch of that popcorn stitch. Grab your loop, pull it through, chain 1 to secure. Continue the same sequence of 1 double crochet and 2 stitches and then a popcorn stitch. Do that all the way around and meet you guys back at the end to do a slip stitch. So we finish round 15. Do your slip stitch into the first stitch of that round and then a chain 2. I'm going to pause right here, leave this out a little bit. You can put a stitch marker here, I just can't find mine right now. So this is what he looks like so far. And before we go any further where they say to go ahead and stuff it and then do round 16, I want to go ahead and put his arms and legs on. I feel like it would be a little bit easier for me. That way all the loose thread can be in here underneath the fiber fill. Okay, so I attached his mushroom to his paw already to make it easier for me. I'm going to, right about over this mark right here, so right just below his muzzle, I'm going to put his hand probably a little bit down like this, so then once I stuff him up a bit, he kind of looks like he's munching on it. And then we're going to place his other arm on his other side. So I'm going to go ahead and do that off camera and I'll meet you guys back. Okay, so this is what my hedgehog looks like after I stitched on all his details. So now I put some fiber fill in the back here. I'll add some more as I finish round 16. So in round 16 we already did our chain 2. Now we're just going to be doing a decrease of 3 stitches together. So you'll yarn over. Just kidding. Alright, so for round 16, we did our chain 2, and then we're going to do a decrease of 3 all the way around. Keep doing this all the way around until it's closed up. So that's 1. So we're going to go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, next stitch, grab your yarn, pull through, next stitch, grab your yarn, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 4. That's a decrease of 3. So next stitch, pull through, next stitch, pull through, next stitch, pull through all 4. Keep repeating that all the way around until you don't have any more space. Add fiber fill as you go to shape him and meet you guys back at the end.